Hey guys, Rob from Georgia here with you, aka VHS82 apostrophe, with episode 4, what I call my Crazy 5's. This time, I'm going to take a look at the zombie film. But, I was thinking, how do I go about this? How do I want to go about this? And then I thought, you know what? Let's shed a little bit of light real quick on foreign zombie films. 5 that really ought to be in your collection. And let's not even mention, we're mentioning it. It needs to be mentioned. The Argento cut of Dawn of the Dead. Remember, that is an Italian-American production, since Argento reserved the rights to edit that film for European consumption. More goblin, less humor, just straight horror that is Dawn of the Dead. But that's not, it's easy to just put things in your list that ought to be in your list. But I thought I would do something a little different. Now, I am putting the American film outside looking in. So you gotta at least, I thought I was going to go with one in particular. And then suddenly I remembered this one. I'm like, no, people need to remember that Bob Clark actually made a zombie, in a pretty creepy one, island horror, right? And I remember as a kid seeing this movie. It was maybe the first time I seen a movie where they had a scene where a guy just willingly throws a girl down the stairs into the clutches of the zombies because he's trying to buy himself time. And I don't know, that scene just stuck with me. And just sort of, but really it is a creepy film, man. It is creepy. It is really creepy. But anyways, who is it? VCI, I think, put out a really good release of this thing. And I'm glad I jumped on it when I did, but really good inside, looking with a little book and everything. Just good stuff. So on the outside looking in, we're going to put the Americans outside looking in. And let's get into this, man. Zombie films from around the world. And again, I go chronological in terms of year released. And it's funny how the 5's really kind of look like that's the way they ought to be. Maybe. Not really in this case, I don't think. Nah, not in this case. All right, let's do this, right? So, first one, released in 1992, first put out by Vidmark Entertainment in 92. I would love to have this thing on VHS, man. From Peter Jackson, man. New Zealand. Let's go to New Zealand first. You know what I'm talking about, right? Dead Alive. This has got to be the Samaritan Rat Monkey. This has got to be one of the craziest bonkers of a movie, man. This movie never, ever gets old. How can it? And Peter Jackson keeps telling us we're going to get a few of his early films on a box, sort of a box set, I guess, 4K release or whatever, remastered. Yeah, we can only hope. Bad Taste and maybe Meet the Feebles. But Dead Alive, how awesome would it be to have this thing in 4K? So at number 5, let's start with New Zealand, 1992. Peter Jackson, maybe, golly, man. I'm in the mood to put it in. I may have to put it in tonight now. See, that's what I do to myself. Number 5, Dead Alive. Number 4, I think this may be the greatest zombie film ever. And of course, I'm sporting it, right? Lucio Fulci's 1979. Whew. Zombie Flesh Eaters. Zombie Flesh Eaters. It's a kind of neat cover. I don't usually show this one up because I actually got a few copies of this. This is the Arrow copy. And it's not a bad copy at all. In fact, this also sports the From Romero to Rome, the rise and fall of the Italian zombie film documentary that's on this. But I saw this finally on the big screen some years ago. That was beyond epic to see this on a big screen. So there's three Fulci movies I've seen on the big screen. I've seen The Beyond, and I've seen A Cat in the Brain. It was actually the first one I saw on the big screen. But from Italy, first put on Magnum. Actually, first put it out in 1980 on VHS. And I remember seeing, and I really wish I would have bought it, but back in the day, Suncoast Video, you could, they had a wall that was set up for just the widescreen director's cuts, etc., etc. And the one they did for Zombi, man, I'm trying to think of releasing them. It wasn't Magnum then. It had to have been, I wonder if it was Anchor Bay. Anyways, whoever did it was absolutely insane. But yeah, so my Arrow Blue copy. I do have the incredible, was it Blue Underground that put it out? That the bridge cover. They gave you the choice of 3. I took the bridge. Anyways, Zombi at number 4 from Italy. Now let's go to France. Now I've got some eyebrows raising here. First put out on VHS by, I've never heard of them before, but Film Office from 1978 from Roland, from France, of course, The Grapes of Death. I reviewed this. If you want to dig down, I can't remember what week it was, but I have reviewed this film for BodyBags. And I'm telling you, man, this is a weird movie. This is another one I need to go back and revisit because, I mean, I have certain images in my mind. I can remember certain scenes a little bit. But this had a really interesting setup. And if I remember right, I thought to myself as I was watching it that it just seemed to be some French Revolution stuff, some subtext, some imagery or whatever going on underneath. I don't know. This was an interesting movie, and one of the better ones. I really do need to revisit. It's got a book in there. Tim Lucas wrote a nice little thing up on it. Redemption put it out. The Grapes of Death. This one is a newer one to me though, but I did review it for BodyBags, as I said, and I was pretty impressed. I was really, really, really impressed with this movie. That was a lot of fun. From France. For number 2, let's go to the UK. First released on VHS. Another company I've never heard of. AEE. 1974 as well. From the UK, from Gras. Now you know what I'm talking about, right? This has got to be Gino De Rossi starting to get his teeth cut, man. Doing the special of the practicals, man. Golly, this is a stinking good movie. The Living Dead at Manchester Morgue, isn't that the title it really goes by? I think I'm pretty sure it is. I'm always afraid I'm going to say it wrong, but I love the cover, man. I love the cover to this. And this, man, this is just a freaky movie, man. It has some really awesome effects, man, going on here. I love the disc art. Look at that. That's pretty awesome, man. That is, I love it, man. Blue Underground. I got quite a few of these Blue Underground DVD releases, and it's something I'm always looking in and grabbing one here and there. Golly, that's a great movie, man. It's a great movie. I told you it's gonna be a good 5. So number 1, first released from Paragon? Yeah, I think Paragon. I got a little messy on my writing. 1971. You know where I'm going? Spain. Number 1. Let's stop in Spain. Armando de Azorios, of course, the first entry in his Tombs of the Blind Dead. Yeah, what an this movie is stinking great, and the end is freaking awesome. There's some crazy stuff in here. Another nice Blue Underground DVD release. God, man, you got then Return of the Blind Dead, The Ghost Galleon, which I really do like, although that's probably most everyone's least favorite. I just love, next to island horror, jungle horror, I really do love ghost ship horror, or you know, things that take place on a ship out at sea. Yeah, and Night of the Seagulls, the fourth one, right? Which is so stinking awesome. Um, I don't know which one. Obviously, I mean, there's a real argument which is better, this one or the second one. Um, but man, I don't know. I mean, maybe I love how the second one ends, but I love how Ghost Galleon ends. Not that that would make it better than the first or second film, obviously, but I love how it ends. It is so great, man. If you've never seen it, and then Seagulls, though, man, has a little bit of a Lovecraftian touch to it, which is interesting. Um, I don't know what my ordering would be, man. I don't know. 2, 1, 4, 3, maybe. And you know what I missed? I missed the Coffin. Blue Underground put out the Coffin box set with all the films, and then I think there was a supplemental disc in there, and I missed that. How do you miss stuff like? I don't know how I missed stuff like that, but so the point in this crazy vibe is that first of all, okay, we don't begin with The Walking Dead when we want to talk zombie film. Let's go back in time a ways, okay? Really, Night of the Living Dead, even with Fulci, the roots of zombie and Dardano Saccheti's writing. Go back to I walked with the or was that I walked with the teenage zombies? I can't. The Val Lewton movies. There's movies back. I love the voodoo lore, after death is fun. Zombie after death is fun just because it's island and you go back to the voodoo stuff. But that's what makes zombies so stinking awesome, man, is the voodoo essence of it. And it really does stand apart from Romero's films, even though it was marketed Zombie 2 to follow up Zombie, which Dawn of the Dead. Zombies. It's just that little bit of a notch above Dawn of the Dead. But Dawn of the Dead is so. I just rewatched that the other night on my beautiful second sight 4K release of that. That is so much stinking fun, man. And I'll tell you, I'll be honest, man. I'm watching it and I'm thinking to myself, is Zombie really just a tad notch above? Yeah. But then I throw on Zombie, and I'm going to be like, yeah, of course, Zombie is just a little bit above. So, two of the greatest zombie movies ever. But anyways, remember, Spain, Osorio's Tombs of the Blind Dead, definitely worth checking out if you've never seen it. Graz, Let Sleeping Corpses Lie, or The Living Dead at Manchester Morgue, however you like. UK has put out some good stuff, right? The Grapes of Death from France, another intriguing, really interesting zombie film in terms of how they approach, how he approaches it. Just a really interesting story. I did get a kick out of this. Of course, I mean, Fulci's masterpiece of gore and delight from Italy. It's just stinking awesome movie. Peter Jackson's This Will Always Be Awesome. Dead Alive, right? The pea soup scene, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. And as an outsider, now I'll just tell you, the one I was gonna do initially was Day of the Dead. But Romero's films do get a lot of love, and I can't remember. It's not often I hear somebody bring up Bob Clark's "Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things." It is just a creepy movie, man. It is just creepy. God, I mean, how does he do it, man? I mean, Black Christmas. I mean, ultimate classic. And there's others I could have put, but those are my 5, man, from around the world. Really, really well. I mean, they go from 92 to 72. So there's that. Well, yeah, I didn't even think about it. Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things and Tombs of the Blind Dead both came out in 72, and then 74, 78, 79. So most of my picks were from the 70s, except for I always amazed that when I think about Dead Alive that I'm reminded that it's the early 90s. I don't know why. I always think that it's got to be in early 80s or maybe even early 80s or late. I don't know. It just doesn't feel like a 92 film for some reason. Maybe it's because it's from New Zealand. I don't know. But anyways, on the Crazy 5's, I don't know where I'm going to go next. I have an idea. Maybe craziest endings? I don't know. I've been thinking about that one for a little bit. Anyways, always end these things off with Go Bills.
This is not a dream. Not a dream.